the staphylococcal, or is it pediculosis, or there is a tear film instability which is due to a facial palsy in this young person. And then you must look at the lacrimal punctate, because chronic irritation, chronic conjunctivitis can lead to occlusion or blockage of these punctae, and that will cause continuous epiphora. Even though the conjunctivitis is better, the patient's watery eye will be persistent. So that your patient will not be happy if you have missed a chronic blockage because of this chronic infection of the lid margin and the conjunctiva. So as I said, all these 6 structures of the ocular surface, they are continuous with each other, and disease of one will spread to the other and will cause problems, and you have to diagnose all of them. And meibomian gland dysfunction, normal meibum is like this, clear liquid, clear drops, oily drops which are present along the lid margin. And meibum is so important that it lines the undersurface of the eyelid, and when the eyelid closes, it closes on the cornea. The meibum causes a smooth excursion of the upper lid over the cornea. But if meibum is not there, then there is continuous friction between the upper lid and the cornea, and it will cause instability of the tear film as well as corneal erosion. Moreover, if such a cornea is scarred, if such a tarsal plate is scarred, when the lid then closes on it, that scarred tarsal plate will cause further damage to the corneal surface. So meibum is very important. Chronic meibomian gland disease will cause the formation of this distichiasis, which is aberrant eyelashes growing inwards and further damaging the cornea. And then you must evert the upper lids to look for follicles, for giant papillae, for membrane formation, debris, hemorrhages, discharge, or any foreign body. That you can only find out if you know how to evert the upper lid. You can just place a cotton pad gently on the upper lid crease and press it down and then evert the upper lid. And chronic conjunctivitis, especially in BKC, it starts affecting the limbal area and loss of limbal epithelial stem cells. And when the limbal epithelial stem cells are lost, then there is healing of the cornea is affected, and it can lead to chronic keratinization, vascularization, scarring of the cornea. Normally, the blood vessels, the conjunctival blood vessels, they stop short at the limbus. They do not grow over the cornea. Why? Because the cornea has a very compact structure. But in disease, if there is a lot of swelling, inflammation, there is opening up of spaces between the conjunctival lamellae, and the blood vessels from the limbus, they start prevailing. And if the cornea is vascularized, it loses its transparency and loses its function. So simple conjunctivitis led to corneal vascularization, and the patient lost his vision because he wasn't properly managed. The simple conjunctivitis wasn't controlled properly. And there are many people, many young patients, especially children, they are losing their vision because of corneal problem, which could be astigmatism, pannus formation, keratoconus, as well as problem caused by the topical medication, mostly steroids, which most of the clinicians, they like to prescribe steroid antibiotic combinations for viral infections, for allergic problems, for any conjunctivitis. And this injudicious use of all these eye drops, they are causing more problem in addition to the disease. The disease is just there, but all these injudicious use of eye drops, the antibiotic and steroids, they are causing a lot of problems. So diagnosing such a patient is very important. And filaments, they form due to, and when these filaments form, they indicate chronic dry eye. It's a severe form of dry eye. and tear film instability. So you have to look for these, the tear meniscus. Normally it is 0.1 to 0.2 millimeters, and you have to look at its height, and you have to stain the cornea, and you have to look for the tear film breakup time. The pattern of staining will tell you whether there is meibomian gland dysfunction or there is an evaporative element to the dry eye. So if there is meibomian gland dysfunction, all this foamy meibum with short chain fatty acids, that result in chronic irritation of the ocular surface, especially inferiorly. And you see these staining spots, staining pattern over the inferior conjunctiva as well as the inferior cornea. On the other hand, if there is an evaporative loss, there is meibum is less and there is aqueous deficiency, then the staining pattern in aqueous deficiency is in the center. So this fluorescein staining score is an important parameter to assess whether your patient is improving with your treatment or not. So you stain cornea, and then the cornea or the whole of ocular surface is divided into 3 zones: the nasal, the central and the temporal, and vertically as well as horizontally. And it is then seen that as grade 0 is no staining, grade 1 is only few separate spots, and grade 3 is area of confluent staining. And you grade it on the initial presentation of the patient, and then you give your treatment for the dry eye, and see when you see that in the next follow-up in 1 month time, then you stain again and you look at the score whether it has improved or not. If you've done it, then of course you will be able to continue with your therapy, and if it's getting worse, then of course you have to do something else. So just a slide to tell you how to diagnose very quickly: adenoviral, bilateral, bacterial, as I said, unilateral, allergic, bilateral. Then there is, in bacterial, there is always purulent discharge, and there is absent of itching eye. Itching is absent in bacterial conjunctivitis because the mechanism is totally different. There is no histamine release in bacterial conjunctivitis. Histamine is released in viral infections as well as in allergies. So the main symptom of a patient is itchy eyes. But in bacterial, it's just watering and discharge and a red eye. And on examination you will see papillae, but no follicles. So bacterial is the easiest to diagnose and easiest to treat, and all you need to do is give some antibiotics, find where the exact cause, where all these bacteria came from, look at the nasolacrimal duct, look at the adnexa, look at the eyelashes for blepharitis, and you see that it is unilateral with pus formation with papillae, no follicles, no lymph nodes. So give the antibiotic for 3 or 4 times a day and for 5 days, and with proper cleaning of the eye, and you can control it easily. Antibiotics do not need to be continued for weeks and weeks or days. Only 5 days, proper appropriate antibiotic, proper lid hygiene, cleaning technique, and treatment of the exact cause where that bacterial load came from, and your patient will be fine. For adenoviral, easy to diagnose again, there is history of contact, bilateral, watery, itchy eye, and follicles, and lymph node, preauricular lymph node. That gives you the clue. For allergies, usually there is a history, a recurrent history. Bilateral, watery eye, itchy eye with papillae, and no lymphadenopathy. In allergies, there is no lymphadenopathy. So again, very easy to diagnose and to manage properly. The management will be covered in the next few lectures. So generally, the management approach is to eliminate and reduce the symptoms and signs of conjunctivitis that the patient is presented with. You need to restore and maintain proper normal visual function. your treatment or the disease should not affect the cornea, the status of the cornea or the tear film. You have to maintain it, and you have to detect and treat the underlying systemic disease. And you have to prevent or reduce damage to the ocular surface, which is the main problem in all these ocular surface diseases. So accurate diagnosis and grading of the disease stage is important. Patient education to prevent chronicity, proper hygiene, avoiding heat, dust or any predisposing factors, they have to be removed. Early and appropriate therapy for appropriate time is important when protecting the cornea by restoring the tear film and avoiding complications from the disease and from your therapy. So thank you very much. All this lecture is intended to make you better and safe clinicians. I hope this works. Thank you.